Chosen one, you have spent your life in a dark room, flipping a switch on a lamp that never turns on. Brace yourself. They vowed to each other to hide this information from you, but you're getting it now. As you plug into your true potential, the resulting light will expose their betrayal and overwhelm their smallness. The truth is in motion, and your destiny is about to shift forever. A group of people witnessed something together. Maybe it was a conversation, maybe it was a message, maybe it was an opportunity with your name written all over it. They all looked at each other. In that moment, they had a choice to make: tell you the truth or protect themselves. Here's what they chose. They chose themselves. Every single one of them. Not one person broke ranks. Not one person said, "This isn't right." Not one person put your well-being above their comfort. They formed a pact right there, and this is important. This is where it gets deep. They didn't just decide not to tell you, they decided to actively deceive you. To smile in your face while sitting on information that could change your life. To ask you how you're doing while knowing exactly why things have been hard for you. To watch you struggle and pretend they don't know why. Now I'm going to tell you something that connects to everything else I'm about to reveal. Some of you had someone trying to reach you. Someone who saw you and said, "That's the one. That's who I want to build with. That's who I see my future with." This person didn't play games. They reached out properly. They went through the right channels. They contacted your friends, your family, the people who were supposed to care about you, and they made their intentions clear. "I want to connect with this person. Can you help me reach them?" And those people, your people, they looked at what was being offered. They saw the potential. They saw marriage, partnership, a future so bright it hurt their eyes. And you know what they said? No, they're not interested. They're seeing someone. They're not looking for anything right now. They've moved on. Lie after lie after lie. And that person walked away thinking you rejected them, while you kept living thinking nobody wanted you. Both of you lied to. Both of you manipulated. Both of you denied a blessing because someone else couldn't handle seeing you that happy. But here's what they didn't know. That person didn't give up. They've been fighting this whole time, trying different ways to reach you, asking different people, looking for any opening, any crack in the wall they built around you, and they're about to find it, because one of those gatekeepers is about to break. One person in that group is about to crack under the weight of what they did. And when they do, when that one person speaks up, the whole conspiracy falls apart. Now let me tell you something else about how they operated. They didn't just hide one piece of information. They created an entire false narrative around your life. They told that person reaching out for you that you had changed, that you weren't the same anymore, that you had become difficult, unapproachable, that you had moved on to bigger and better things and wouldn't be interested in reconnecting. They painted a picture of you that wasn't true. They made you seem unreachable when you were right there, available, open, waiting for exactly what they were blocking. And they did the same thing to you. They told you nobody was asking about you, nobody was thinking about you, nobody cared enough to reach out. They made you feel forgotten when you were actually being sought after. They made you feel alone when someone was actively trying to find you. They constructed this entire reality where you thought you were isolated by choice or circumstance, when really you were isolated by design. Their design. And the cruelest part, they made you believe it was your fault, that maybe you pushed people away, that maybe you weren't worthy of the connection you craved, that maybe something was fundamentally wrong with you that made people not want to be around you. But I'm not done yet, because this isn't just about romance. This goes into your money, your inheritance, your opportunities, jobs that were offered that you never heard about, positions that were created with you in mind that someone else told the employer you weren't available for, partnerships that were proposed that got intercepted before reaching you, business opportunities where someone said on your behalf that you weren't interested, and you were sitting there wondering why your career felt stuck, why nothing seemed to open up, why every door seemed locked, and all along doors were opening, you just weren't being told about them. Some of you have money that belongs to you, real money, not hypothetical, not spiritual, actual dollars with your name attached. insurance payouts, inheritance from relatives who passed, settlements from cases you didn't even know existed, and someone was supposed to tell you about it. Someone was appointed, named, put in charge of making sure you got what was legally yours, and they got the check. They saw the amount, they held it in their hands, and they made a calculation. If I tell them about this, they get it all. If I don't tell them, I can take a little bit first. Just a little, they'll never know. They don't even know this money exists. So they took some, and then they took some more, and more, and more, and they've been sitting on your wealth, acting broke around you, pinching pennies in your face, talking about how hard times are, how they're struggling, how they can barely make it. The whole time there's a pile of cash somewhere with your name on it, and they've been depleting it, spending it, using it, living off it, and by the time you find out it exists, they figured it'll all be gone, spent, untraceable. What money? What are you talking about? I don't know anything about that. But here's what they didn't count on. Someone kept records, someone documented the transactions, someone knows exactly how much came in and exactly how much went out, and that someone is about to produce the receipts. But it's not just money they've been hoarding. They've been hoarding information like it's currency, sitting on it, storing it up, waiting to see how they can profit from it. Contact information for people who want to reach you, details about opportunities that are available, knowledge about things that belong to you. They're treating information like money, keeping it close, protecting it, because as long as they control what you know, they control you. As long as they're the gatekeepers, they have power. As long as you depend on them to tell you what's real, they maintain their position. But that power structure is crumbling right now as we speak, because the divine doesn't need their permission to reach you. The universe doesn't ask their approval before delivering your blessings. And the messenger that's coming, that little birdie we talked about at the beginning, they're flying straight to your window. No middlemen, no gatekeepers, no interference, direct delivery. And when that message lands, their whole operation collapses. If this message activated your knowing, hype this video to connect with more chosen ones on this journey. Some of what they did might be illegal, might cross lines that have consequences, legal consequences, financial penalties, relationship destruction. So they made sure everybody was involved, everybody had dirt on everybody else, mutually assured destruction. If one person talks, they all go down. So the silence is enforced, the pact is strong, nobody breaks ranks, because breaking ranks means exposing yourself. It's like a criminal organization. Everybody's guilty, everybody's complicit, so everybody stays quiet, and you've been living in that manufactured silence, thinking everything is normal, thinking these people care about you, thinking they want the best for you, but you're about to find out different, because one of them is about to crack. And here's something else. They've been pretending to pass messages along. Someone would ask about you, and they'd say, "Oh yeah, I'll tell them you asked about them," but they never did. Someone would say, "Can you give them my number?" And they'd say, "Sure, absolutely," but they never did. Someone would ask them to connect you to, and they'd say, "Yeah, I'll set something up," but they never did. They performed the role of messenger while actually being the blockade. They acted like they were helping while actively hindering, and you trusted them. You believed them when they said they'd relay information. You thought they were on your side, and this whole time they were the wall between you and your blessings. You've been operating with limited information, incomplete data, like playing chess but half the pieces are hidden from you, like running a race but nobody told you where the finish line is, like building something but they only gave you half the blueprint, and you still made it this far. Think about that for a second. With everything working against you, with people actively sabotaging you, with information deliberately withheld, you still rose, you still grew, you still pushed forward. That tells you something about who you are. That reveals something about your power, because if you made it this far with one hand tied behind your back, imagine what happens when both hands are free. The decisions you made, they weren't wrong, they were just based on what you knew at the time. And what you knew was controlled by people who didn't want you to know everything, so you chose the job that seemed best, the relationship that seemed right, the city that seemed like the right move, the investment that seemed smart. And maybe those things didn't work out the way you hoped. Maybe doors closed, maybe opportunities dried up, maybe you ended up somewhere you never intended to be, and you blamed yourself. You thought you made bad choices. You thought you weren't listening to your intuition. You thought you missed the signs, but you didn't. The signs were tampered with, the information was manipulated, the game was rigged, and you were playing it honestly while everyone else was cheating. Starseeds, they never expected this. The technology used to suppress consciousness has been reverse-engineered, and Destiny Engine is the result. What was once used against humanity is now your ascension weapon. You can now MK Ultra yourself into 5D superpowers. Destiny Engine bypasses the conscious mind and rewrites the source code directly. Reality bends faster, synchronicities stack. Your nervous system upgrades to a higher bandwidth. Put on headphones, press play, that's all. For $1 you switch sides of history. Click the link in the description. The takeover is internal. Even with everything stacked against you, you never stopped moving. You never gave up completely. You never surrendered to the darkness. Something in you kept pushing, kept searching, kept believing there was more. And that something, that inner knowing, that was divine guidance protecting you, that was your spirit refusing to accept the lies, that was your soul remembering who you are, even when everyone around you was trying to make you forget. And now that persistence is about to pay off, because the information they kept from you, it's breaking through. The truth they tried to bury, it's rising, and when it reaches you, when you finally see the full picture, you're not going to make the same kinds of decisions anymore. You're going to make power moves, strategic moves, moves that serve your destiny instead of their agenda. Let me give you some examples of how this has played out in your actual life. You made decisions about where to live based on what you thought your options were. But what if there were opportunities in other cities that never reached you? What if someone was trying to offer you a place, a position, a reason to relocate that would have changed your entire trajectory? You chose to stay or you chose to go based on incomplete information. You weighed pros and cons without knowing there were additional pros that were being hidden from you, so you ended up somewhere that maybe wasn't the best fit. And you thought it was just how life worked out. But it wasn't random, it was orchestrated. Or think about relationships you walked away from, friendships you let fade, connections you didn't pursue. Were those genuinely wrong for you, or were you being fed information that made them seem wrong? Did someone plant seeds of doubt? Did they mention things that person said about you that maybe weren't true? Did they interpret that person's actions in the worst possible light to make you question the relationship? And because you trusted the messenger, you accepted their version of reality. You made decisions to protect yourself from threats that didn't actually exist. You created distance from people who actually cared about you because someone convinced you they didn't. There's someone in that group, someone who was there when they made the pact, someone who agreed to stay silent, someone who smiled in your face just like the others. But something's happening to them right now. They can't sleep, they can't eat. They can't look at themselves in the mirror without feeling sick, because unlike the others, they still have a conscience. Unlike the others, they still have a soul that speaks to them, and it's speaking louder every single day. It's saying you're wrong, what you did was wrong, you need to make it right, you need to tell the truth. And they've been fighting it, they've been trying to justify it, trying to convince themselves it was for the best, trying to rationalize why keeping you in the dark was somehow protecting you, but it's not working anymore. Every time they see you, the guilt intensifies. Every time you talk about your struggles, they feel it in their chest. Every time you wonder out loud why things are so hard, they die a little inside, because they know exactly why, and they're the only one in that group who actually cares, the only one who still has humanity left, the only one who remembers what it's like to have a moral compass, and they're about to follow it straight to your door. This person is getting ready to stand up, to go to bat for you, to defend you, even though it means exposing themselves, even though it means the whole group will turn on them, even though it means admitting they were complicit. They're willing to take that hit because staying silent is killing them. And here's what's beautiful about this. The others don't see it coming. They think the pact is solid. They think everyone's equally invested in keeping the secret. They think they're all protected by mutual guilt, but they miscalculated. They didn't account for one person actually developing a conscience, one person actually caring more about your well-being than their own comfort, and that one person is about to blow the whole thing wide open. This person who's about to come forward, they've been watching something change in you. They've seen you evolve, seen you grow stronger, seen you develop in ways that make them realize you can handle the truth now. Maybe earlier you couldn't have, maybe earlier the revelation would have broken you, but not now. Now you're solid, grounded, strong enough to hear it and process it and do something powerful with it. And they see that. They recognize that this is the moment. The timing is finally right. The universe has prepared you for what you're about to learn. They're going to give you names, specifics. They're going to tell you about the conversations that happened about you when you weren't there, the decisions that were made about your life without your input, the opportunities that came and were turned away on your behalf. They're going to tell you about the person who's been trying to reach you, how many times they tried, how persistent they were, how they refused to believe you weren't interested and kept coming back with different approaches, and how each time they were turned away with a different excuse. They're going to tell you about the money, how much came in, where it went, who took what. They might even have documentation, records, proof. Your body already knew, your spirit 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 already knew. Even though your conscious mind didn't have the facts, even though you couldn't prove anything, even though you had no evidence, something deeper in you was picking up the signals. You started feeling sick around certain people. Your stomach would turn, your energy would drop, you'd get headaches, feel nauseous, heavy, like something was pressing down on you, and you couldn't explain why. You thought maybe it was something you ate, maybe you were coming down with something, maybe you needed more rest, but it wasn't any of that. It was your body alerting you, warning you, screaming at you that something was wrong. Some of you would come home from family gatherings and throw up. You'd spend the next day in bed feeling drained, and you'd feel guilty about it, like you were being punished for not wanting to be around your family. Like there was something wrong with you for not enjoying those moments. But there wasn't something wrong with you. There was something wrong with them. Your body was rejecting their energy. Your spirit was repelling their presence. Your system was trying to protect you from people who were sitting in your face with poison in their hearts. And you felt it. You just didn't know what you were feeling. You didn't have language for it. You didn't have proof. So you doubted yourself. But you were right the whole time. Your instincts were accurate. Your discernment was on point. You just needed the information to confirm what your body already knew. And over time you started pulling back. Not because you consciously decided to, but because your body made the decision for you. You became a hermit. You isolated. You stayed home more. You declined invitations. You created distance. And they thought that was good for them. They thought perfect. Now we control access. Now they're dependent on us for connection. Now we're the gatekeepers to their entire world. But they didn't understand what was really happening. The divine was strategically removing you from toxic environments. God was isolating you on purpose, pulling you out of that group, separating you from that energy, creating space for you to hear clearly, to receive downloads, to get the messages they were trying to block. Because when you're surrounded by noise and chaos and manipulation, you can't hear the truth. But when you're alone, when you're quiet, when you're removed from the interference, that's when clarity comes. That's when the divine can speak directly to you. That's when the little birdie can fly straight to your window with no obstacles in the way. During that isolation, something else happened that they didn't anticipate. You started receiving information directly, dreams that showed you the truth, intuitive hits that revealed patterns, sudden knowings that came out of nowhere but turned out to be accurate. The divine started bypassing their interference completely, started delivering messages straight to you, started showing you things they tried to hide. You might have had dreams where you saw them doing something suspicious, where you watched them conspire, where you witnessed their true faces, and you woke up disturbed, wondering if it was just your imagination or if your subconscious was trying to tell you something. It wasn't your imagination, it was revelation. They still think they're smarter than you. They still think they can manipulate you. They still think their little games and tactics work. But here's what happened while you were isolated, while you were alone, while you were in hermit mode. You were reading, studying, learning, growing. Your intelligence went up. Your emotional intelligence expanded. Your spiritual discernment sharpened to a razor's edge. You started seeing patterns, recognizing manipulation, spotting lies before they fully left people's mouths. You developed an ability to read energy, to feel intention, to know when someone's being real and when they're performing. And these people, they stopped growing. They plateaued. They stayed exactly where they were mentally and emotionally, maybe even regressed. Because when you're constantly scheming and manipulating and lying, you don't have energy left for actual growth. You don't have space for evolution. You're too busy maintaining the facade, too busy keeping track of your lies, too busy making sure nobody catches you, so they're stuck, frozen, using manipulation tactics from long ago, playing mind games that psychology has exposed and documented, running strategies that anyone with basic awareness can see coming from far away, and they don't even know how obvious they are. They think they're being slick, they think they're being clever, they think they're outsmarting you, but you've been watching them this whole time, studying them, learning their patterns, understanding their psychology, and you can see everything they're doing. You've been quiet about it. You haven't called them out. You haven't confronted them. You've just been observing, gathering information, confirming what you suspected, because you've learned something they never will. You don't have to announce everything you know. You don't have to reveal all your cards. You can move in silence, make decisions in private, execute strategies without broadcasting them. That's power. That's wisdom. That's the mark of someone who's evolved beyond the need for drama and confrontation. Your silence has been making them nervous, really nervous, because they're used to controlling you through chaos, through emotional manipulation, through keeping you reactive and off balance. But you're not reactive anymore. You're not emotional anymore. You're not off balance anymore. You're centered, grounded, clear, and that scares them, because they don't have leverage over someone who's found their center. They can't manipulate someone who knows who they are. They can't control someone who's connected to something bigger than them, so they feel it, that spider crawling up the back of their neck, that sensation that something's wrong, that awareness that you've changed, but they can't quite figure out how, and it's making them sloppy, making them desperate, making them move in ways that expose them even more. In that split second when the information reaches you, when the truth becomes undeniable, when the fog lifts and you see clearly for the first time, everything is going to make sense. All the confusion of the past, all the closed doors, all the missed connections, all the struggles that seem to come from nowhere, all of it will line up perfectly. You'll understand that you weren't crazy, you weren't paranoid, you weren't imagining things, you were picking up on real betrayal, real interference, real sabotage, And your instincts were accurate the whole time. You're going to feel anger. That's natural. You're going to feel betrayal. That's expected. You're going to feel sadness and disappointment and maybe even rage. And that's okay. Feel it all. Process it. Don't suppress it. But don't get stuck in it either, because those emotions aren't the point. The point is what comes after, the clarity, the power, the freedom, the ability to make decisions based on truth instead of lies. And you're going to stand up, not in a victim way, not in a defeated way, but in a warrior way, in a chosen one way. You're going to look at what happened and say, you really thought that would stop me. You really thought hiding information from me would keep me down. You really thought I wouldn't find out, and you're going to laugh. Not a bitter laugh, a powerful laugh, because you'll realize something profound. They had to work that hard to slow you down. They had to conspire in groups. They had to coordinate their sabotage. They had to put that much energy into blocking you, which means you're exactly as powerful as you always knew you were. Which means you're exactly as chosen as you always felt, which means you're exactly as blessed as they were afraid you'd become. In that moment of clarity, you're going to understand why certain things didn't work out, why certain doors closed, why certain relationships ended. It wasn't because you weren't good enough. It wasn't because you did something wrong. It was because those things were being steered by people with hidden agendas. That job you didn't get. Someone told the employer something false about you. That relationship that fell apart. Someone planted seeds of doubt in the other person's mind. That opportunity that disappeared. Someone told the person offering it that you already found something better. So you're going to make different decisions. Completely different decisions, because now you're operating with full knowledge. You know who was for you and who was against you. You know which doors were genuinely closed and which ones were being held shut by human hands. You know which paths were truly not for you and which ones you were steered away from by saboteurs. And with that knowledge, you're going to move strategically, powerfully, decisively, no hesitation, no guilt, no second guessing, just pure aligned action, and they're going to watch it happen. The people who conspired against you, the people who sat in your face and lied, the people who stole from you and smiled while doing it, they're going to see you rise. They're going to see you connect with the person they tried to keep from you. They're going to see you step into the opportunities they tried to block. They're going to see you recover the resources they tried to steal, and they're not going to be able to stop any of it. Because once truth is revealed, once light is turned on, once the plug is connected and electricity flows, there's no going back to darkness. Watch what happens when you start operating with complete information. When someone offers you something, you're not going to run it by people who have proven they don't have your best interest at heart. You're not going to ask their opinion. You're not going to give them advance notice so they can sabotage it before it manifests. You're going to move in silence, make decisions in private, execute plans without announcement, and by the time they find out what you did, it'll be done, completed, sealed, too late for interference. You're going to reconnect with people they drove away, people they told you had turned on you, people they said were talking badly about you, people they convinced you to cut off. And when you reach back out, when you have honest conversations, you're going to discover that they never said those things, they never turned on you, they never betrayed you. They were actually confused about why you disappeared, why you stopped answering, why you went cold. And when you explain what you were told, when you share what happened, they're going to have their own stories, their own experiences of being lied to about you. And together, you're going to piece together the full picture of the manipulation campaign that was run against both of you. You don't have to do anything to these people. You don't have to get revenge. You don't have to expose them publicly. You don't have to make them pay, because divine justice is already in motion. Universal law is already balancing the scales. What they did in secret is being addressed in the spiritual realm. What they took from you is being taken from them. What they blocked for you is being blocked for them. The energy they sent out is coming back to them multiplied, and you don't have to lift a finger, because here's what happens when you interfere with someone's destiny. when you block someone's blessing, when you steal from someone who's marked and chosen and protected by the divine, you inherit their struggle, you take on their burden, you invite consequences you can't handle. And these people are about to learn that lesson the hard way. The money they stole is going to disappear mysteriously. The opportunities they blocked for you are going to pass them by. The peace they traded for temporary gain is going to elude them permanently. They're going to experience exactly what they tried to put on you: confusion, closed doors, missed connections, isolation, struggle, and they won't understand why. But you, chosen one, you're going to be elevated, restored, compensated, because when the divine restores what was stolen, it doesn't just give back what was taken, it multiplies it, it adds interest, it provides overflow. You're not just going to recover what you lost, you're going to gain what you couldn't have gained if none of this had happened. The delay developed you, the struggle strengthened you, the isolation prepared you, the betrayal taught you discernment. And now you're ready for blessings you wouldn't have been ready for before. You're mature enough to handle what's coming, wise enough to protect it, strong enough to maintain it. The information that's coming to you right now, the revelation that's breaking through, it's not just about the past, it's about the future. It's about giving you what you need to make better decisions going forward, to build stronger foundations, to create lasting legacies, to establish authentic relationships, to pursue genuine opportunities. Everything you do from this point forward gets to be built on truth, on complete information, on divine guidance that's no longer being filtered through human interference. Remember what I told you at the beginning. This isn't a story about you being a victim. This is a story about you being so powerful that it took multiple people conspiring together just to slow you down. This is a story about you being so blessed that they had to coordinate their sabotage. This is a story about you being so chosen that even with everything working against you, you still made it this far. And now that the interference is being removed, now that the truth is revealed, now that you're about to make decisions based on complete information, there's no limit to where you can go. There's no ceiling on what you can achieve. There's no cap on how high you can rise. So brace yourself, not in fear, in anticipation, not in anxiety, in excitement, because what's coming isn't something to dread, it's something to celebrate. The truth has arrived, the connection is being made, the light is turning on. And after everything you've been through, after everything you've endured, after everything you've overcome, you're ready, you're prepared, you're positioned, the lamp is about to turn on, chosen one. And when it does, the whole world is going to see what those people tried so hard to keep hidden. Your light, your power, your destiny, your glory, everything that was always there, everything that was always yours, everything that no conspiracy could ultimately keep from you. Because what the divine has for you is for you, and it's here, right now, in this moment. Plug in that lamp, turn on that light, and step boldly into everything that's been waiting for you. Your time has